The sun rises over the vast golden expanse of the African savanna, casting long, shifting shadows across the grass. Among these shadows, a silhouette emerges, a shape so prehistoric, so formidable, that it seems to belong to a different epoch entirely. This is the rhinoceros, a living monument to an ancient world. To understand the rhino, one must look back through the corridors of deep time. Their story does not begin here, on the modern plains, but over 50 million years ago in the Eocene era. They are the survivors of a once diverse dynasty. In their evolutionary youth, the family Rhinocerotidae roamed across North America, Europe, and Asia. Some were small and fleet-footed, resembling horses. Others were the largest land mammals to ever walk the earth, like the Paraceratherium, a hornless giant that dwarfed modern elephants. They weathered ice ages, the shifting of continents, and the rise of human civilization. Yet today, this once mighty lineage has been whittled down to just 5 distinct species, clinging to existence in scattered pockets of Africa and Asia. They are the living fossils, biological tanks that carry the genetic memory of a time before man. When we look into the small, dark eye of a rhino, we are looking at a creature that evolution designed for resilience. They are the last of the mega herbivores that do not rely on a herd's safety in numbers, but rather on sheer, unadulterated power and thick, armor-like skin. They are the solitary wanderers of the wild, quieter than the elephant, more elusive than the lion, yet undeniably the anchors of their ecosystems. As the morning mist burns off, the ground trembles rhythmically, a warning and a testament that the titans are still here. To speak of the rhino as a singular entity is a mistake. There are 5 distinct families, each adapted to a unique corner of the globe, each with a different story written in their morphology. In the open grasslands of Africa, we find the white rhinoceros. Despite its name, a mistranslation of the Dutch word wide, meaning wide, referring to its mouth, it is gray. It is the largest of the 5, a dedicated grazer. Its broad, square lip is an evolutionary masterpiece, designed to crop short grasses like a lawnmower. They are the most social of the species, often found in small groups called crashes. The southern white rhino is a conservation success story, brought back from a population of fewer than 100 to roughly 16,000 today. Sharing the African continent is the black rhinoceros. Smaller, more aggressive, and critically endangered, the black rhino is a browser. Its distinguishing feature is a hooked, prehensile upper lip, which it uses with the dexterity of a finger to strip leaves and thorns from acacia bushes. Unlike its white cousin, the black rhino is solitary and notoriously ill-tempered, a trait born from evolving in environments teeming with large predators. Moving east to the floodplains of India and Nepal, we encounter the greater one-horned rhinoceros. This beast appears to be bolted together. Its skin folds are so pronounced, they resemble heavy plate armor, complete with rivet-like bumps. Unlike their African counterparts, they possess only a single horn. They are excellent swimmers, often submerged in the rivers of the Terai grasslands, grazing on aquatic plants. Then there are the ghosts of the deep forest, the Javan and Sumatran rhinoceroses. These are the rarest large mammals on Earth. The Javan rhino, now found only in a single national park in Indonesia, is a smaller, solitary creature of the dense jungle. The Sumatran rhino is the strangest of all. It is the smallest species and the only one covered in coarse, reddish-brown hair, a lingering trait from its ancestor, the woolly rhino of the Ice Age. They are the vocalists of the family, communicating with bird-like whistles and songs, yet they are so few in number that their songs often go unanswered. The physical presence of a rhino is dominated by two features, the skin and the horn. The skin of a rhinoceros is a paradox. It can be up to 5 centimeters thick in places, a dense lattice of collagen that protects them from the sharp thorns of the scrubland and the horns of rivals. To the human eye, it looks like impenetrable stone. Yet this armor is incredibly sensitive. It is richly supplied with blood vessels and nerves. A rhino can feel the landing of a single fly on its flank. This sensitivity drives much of their daily behavior. The sun is an enemy to their skin, and biting insects are a constant plague. This is why the mud wallow is the center of rhino society. Mud acts as a cooling agent, a sunscreen, and an insect repellent. Watching a 2-ton animal roll blissfully in a mud pit is to witness a moment of pure, primal relief. When the mud dries, it cakes the skin, forming a secondary temporary shield against the elements. Then there is the horn. It is the source of their majesty and their tragedy. Unlike the horns of cattle, which are bone-covered in keratin, or the antlers of deer, which are solid bone, the rhino's horn is composed entirely of keratin, the same protein found in human hair and fingernails. It is not attached to the skull. It grows from the skin, a tightly compacted mass of fibers. It is a tool of immense versatility, used for digging for water, breaking branches, defending calves, and ritualized combat. If broken, it can grow back. It is a biological tool, nothing more. Yet it has become the most expensive commodity on the black market, valued higher than gold or cocaine, driving a frenzy of slaughter. The rhinoceros is not merely an inhabitant of the landscape, it is an architect of it. Ecologists classify them as keystone species, or mega gardeners. In Africa, the grazing of white rhinos keeps the grass short, creating grazing lawns that act as fire breaks and provide suitable feeding grounds for smaller herbivores like impalas and wildebeests. Without the rhino, the grass grows tall and woody, increasing the intensity of wildfires and changing the composition of the savanna. The browsers like the black and Sumatran rhinos shaped the forests. By eating tough, fibrous plants and pushing through dense vegetation, they open up pathways, tunnels through the bush used by other animals. Furthermore, they are vital seed dispersers. They consume vast quantities of fruit and vegetation, traveling long distances before depositing the seeds in nutrient-rich dung piles. Many plant species rely almost exclusively on these giants to germinate. If the rhino disappears, the ecosystem begins to simplify. The complex web of life unravels. Biodiversity drops. The loss of the rhino is not just the loss of a single species, it is the degradation of the forests and plains they call home. They are the guardians of the wild places, maintaining the balance of nature simply by existing. It is impossible to tell the story of the modern rhino without addressing the dark shadow that hangs over them: poaching. The crisis is driven by a myth. In traditional medicine systems in parts of Asia, particularly Vietnam and China, rhino horn is erroneously believed to cure everything, from hangovers to cancer. Western science has proven repeatedly that the horn has no medicinal properties whatsoever. Consuming it is medically equivalent to chewing on one's own fingernails. Yet status anxiety and deep-seated cultural beliefs drive a demand that is insatiable. The brutality of the trade is heart-wrenching. Poachers, often funded by international criminal syndicates, use high-powered rifles, night vision goggles, and helicopters to track these animals. A rhino is often shot and its face hacked away with an axe while it is still alive, left to bleed to death in the dust. The calves, trying to defend their mothers, are often killed or left to starve. The numbers are stark. In the last decade, thousands of rhinos have been butchered. The western black rhino was declared extinct in 2011. The northern white rhino has been reduced to just 2 females, Najin and Fatu, living under 24-hour armed guard in Kenya. The last male, Sudan, died in 2018, his death marking the functional extinction of a subspecies that once roamed the Nile Valley in the thousands. This is not natural selection. This is systematic extermination for profit. We stand at a crossroads. The story of the rhinoceros is currently being written, and the ending is not yet fixed. There are glimmers of hope. In India, the greater one-horned rhino has bounced back from the brink of extinction due to strict protection and habitat expansion. In Africa, private reserves and sanctuaries are managing to keep populations stable, though the cost of security is astronomical. For the northern white rhino, science offers a final Hail Mary pass. Scientists have created embryos using eggs harvested from the last 2 females and frozen sperm from deceased males. The plan is to implant these embryos into southern white rhino surrogates. It is a biological moonshot, a desperate attempt to use advanced technology to undo the damage caused by human greed. But technology alone cannot save them. The survival of the rhino depends on a shift in human consciousness. It requires the collapse of the demand for horn in Asia. It requires the global community to view the rhino not as a commodity, but as a global heritage. Imagine a world without them. Imagine the African savanna without the silhouette of the tank-like browser. Imagine the jungles of Sumatra silent without the singing of the hairy rhino. If they go, they take with them millions of years of evolutionary history. We would be left with a planet that is less wild, less wondrous, and profoundly lonelier. The rhino is a test for humanity. They are tough, yes. They have survived meteors and ice ages, but they cannot survive us without our help. They are the old souls of this planet, heavy with the weight of time, asking for nothing but the space to exist, to wallow in the mud, to raise their calves, and to roam the earth as they have for 50 million years. The sun sets on the savanna, painting the sky in hues of purple and orange. The rhino moves slowly into the darkness, blending into the night. Whether it will emerge again with the next sunrise is up to us. The clock is ticking. The titans are waiting.